been 453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin.
I went and talked to neighbors, and every single one of them, every single one, welcomed me. And if they had video surveillance, they gave it to me. The only person that would not talk to me, as the only person that had something to hide and wouldn't talk to me. You know, she has a son that's hiding and waiting for somebody in the dark, late at night on the 25th. And there needs to be some explaining for that. I'll just leave it at that.
That we are going to keep searching, we are going to keep looking, we are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value. It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
Yeah, I'm working on behalf of Sebastian. I am not, my client is Sebastian, and they're the guardians that have the ability to sign.
It just started. Hi Dad, I know this has been a family, but tomorrow's picture day. So could you send some decent clothes over to me so that I can wear the decent clothes and be handsome for my birthday with all decent clothes? Mom.
Because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
My truck doesn't need to be in anybody's conversations about where it was, when it was, and how it was.
Don't you talk about his
Chris,
truck.
did you hear me say?
Please hit that like button. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Big Green Hoodie over here. All right, so we got two major discoveries. So what was handed off? Show you right here. The lower half is a closer look. You can see the light. We'll slow it down in our live. See it multiple times. That's when she's walking away. And oh, what's that? Hey, wait, what? Oh my God, what is she doing with the phone on? Wait a minute. What are you doing with that thing? Huh? Who is Green Hoodie lady? I think we know. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your Thursday to watch the show. We got some big reveals today, and the future plans that we've been talking about for what feels about like a year of work. Actually 2 years really, but yeah, we're ready. We've been waiting patiently, and it's time. We need to put those responsible behind bars and get justice. Find out what happened to Sebastian. Bring him home if we can. All right.
Sebastian Rogers was...
Pause it here real quick. Again, thank you for everybody. Much love to everybody. And yeah, if you want Snarky Chris, because believe me, I've got a lot to say. I'm going to kind of save it towards the end. But yeah, I'm pissed off. But we've got some goals that we are aiming towards. We can't reveal everything, but yeah. So real quick, get him, Chris. We are. I'm fed up. Honestly, I'm fed up. So real quick, I know, as I always say, 99% of you guys in here are familiar with the case. I will just quickly play a recap, and then we are going to dive into Texas Roadhouse, and I'm going to show you. I only showed you one thing that we discovered, but there is more. And I've only just got my hands on some of the Texas Roadhouse footage. I know it's been out there, but what some people may not know is the original stuff was kind of cropped, so you couldn't see the top left as much as you could in the original, if that makes sense. When At Night or whoever, when they posted it, they kind of cropped it a little bit. I don't think like to hide anything. I think they just maybe cropped it for whatever reason. But the original shows a little bit more of that top left corner of where Green Hoodie goes, and there is something that raises some major red flags, along with the phone in her hand, which again we just caught. And yeah, there's much more. So anyways, let's quickly play the recap, just a little 2-minute recap as always, and we will get going on what we believe, backed with some visual evidence, and then kind of put some speculation together. We'll discuss it in chat, see what you guys think. And yeah, so let's get going.
Declared missing and endangered, but on the next day, on the 27th, they escalated his case to Amber Alert status. Why?
This is a News 2 breaking news alert.
And we need to start that breaking news right now. An Amber Alert has just been issued for missing Hendersonville teenager Sebastian Rogers.
In this video, I'm going to prove what caused the Amber Alert and why it's still active. I will back this up with literally one of the biggest clues many people have missed, and why certain family members and law enforcement agencies don't want you to know about this giant clue that was there all along. Welcome and get comfortable. You are now watching The Mob Crew. In this video, I'm going to prove what caused the Amber Alert and literally crush and end certain ongoing debates with a clue that is so big they don't want you to know. Chapter 1. From missing and endangered to Amber Alert. Just after Rogers was reported missing on day 1, law enforcement was seen, looking for any surveillance footage around the neighborhood of Rogers. Law enforcement would soon find out that one home did indeed capture something on the early morning hours of the 26th. That home was located here, and what the captured would become infamously known as the 3 a.m. lights. And on the next day, February 27th, sometime during the afternoon, the TBI would post that an Amber Alert was issued in the Rogers case, based on additional investigative information. This was certainly no coincidence.
Alert. And we need to start that breaking news right now. An Amber Alert has just been issued for missing Hendersonville teenager Sebastian Rogers.
Officials tell me Sebastian Rogers is an autistic 15-year-old with glasses, dirty blonde hair, and was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants around midnight Sunday night.
Definitely increases the volatility of the situation. The medicine was there, obviously to treat his autism. So how he responds to that once the medicine is out of his system is really not my expertise. But I do know that it's going to have a negative effect on him.
Here are the criterias needed for an Amber Alert: confirmed abduction, imminent danger, targeted information, and age requirement. That's right, confirmed abduction is one of the main criteria for an Amber Alert, and it's still active. Would be commonly known as the flashlight video, and it sparked heavy speculation, so much so that eventually, law enforcement would claim that it was garbage truck lights, and Sheriff Craddock would give us the best quote of my generation.
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why? And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
Reports that say that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me, because as we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
All right, guys, let's just go on. All right, Texas Roadhouse.
Chapter 3, Time. Why would...
Sorry, let me skip that. That will be cut out there. All right. Okay. All right, we got about 400 people in here. Thank you guys, as always, as you guys tuning in. We're just getting started. 2 major discoveries, in my opinion, and there's more. We can't reveal everything, but we think there's 2 areas that we're looking into that we think, we're going to throw multiple darts, and hopefully one of these land. And we think the Texas Roadhouse is the biggest one, although the 3 AM could be our, backup plan, and we'll probably have others as well. But we are in the mix. I can't explain what we're doing, but if we get what we're hoping to get, I think there's no way the FBI can turn the other cheek, right? And I don't think the FBI is corrupt. I feel like they got, just like, like Nancy Guthrie case where, you have that whatever idiot that doesn't want to cooperate with the FBI. And we've seen how that works, right? When FBI, isn't the lead, but they're trying to offer assistance, and, there's like this ego thing with the, whatever agency that's taking the lead. And we've seen that in a case that I worked on, the Dylan Rounds case. Small example, I've brought this up many times. That case, Box Elder, I'm pretty sure it's Box Elder, was originally lead in that investigation. And FBI was assisting, but they didn't want to share stuff with the FBI. And of course, Candace Cooley, the mother of Dylan Rounds, in that case, was not happy because she knew much more stuff was going on, and the actual killer was still there, and actually getting rid of evidence while they were out there. It's just absolutely wild. Long story short, of course, she went all over YouTube. She's been on my channel multiple times. She was everywhere trying to get the word out. We need to get this agency out of here. We need to get the neighboring agency, which is Weber County, I'm pretty sure. And then once that happened, they cooperated with the FBI, and bam, Brenner was arrested. Not long after, they took very critical evidence. Obviously, a lot of stuff had already been thrown away, but luckily they recovered his phone, which actually had probably literally the smoking gun. And then sadly, it took a long time, but 2 years later, Brenner did give up where he had buried Dylan Rounds. But if the FBI, if Box Elder was still involved, who knows where we'd be right now. So anyway, here we are, Texas Roadhouse, and I'll kind of explain why I think this could be a real big breakthrough. So here is, and I'll get to chat here in a minute, set up the Texas Roadhouse here. This is Katie speaking.
Sisters went their own way. I don't know.
Thank you, Canadian. It's good to see you.
I did not insinuate a name. I didn't say who.
Just clarifying, it was just me and Bubba that left together.
So you and Sebastian leave BJ's.
So
Used my Life 360 to give exact timestamps to the law enforcement.
It was before.
Okay, now this is very important. I think they wanted this. The Life 360, which again, I'm not experienced because I'm not an Apple guy. I'm an Android person. But I think this was them showing like, look, this is where we went, right, when we left Texas Roadhouse. And it's just interesting how much they want to reiterate this whole Life 360. We even had an upgraded Life 360, right? All just signs of we're trying to show proof of life that he made it to the house, right?
Noon.
gotcha. Okay. Before noon at BJ's.
Yes.
Okay.
Law enforcement has the literal, like, to the second.
We have been told we are not to give out exact times. And
Gotcha.
that came directly from law enforcement. We're not breaking that.
But like
Okay.
I said, they literally used my 360 and like
They got the
knew
timestamps.
that route I took.
Yes.
They knew how fast I went.
Yep.
They knew if I did any stops, which I didn't. They know, like, they literally know every detail because we have upgraded 360. So they literally,
What up,
and I
hindsight?
have a thing in my car with a camera.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where everybody's wrong.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell people what it is, but all they need to
Sort of
know
kind of this way,
is
but-
in this vehicle, there was something that recorded a video and audio.
But law enforcement had multiple sources to confirm everything.
Yeah, I think so, Dennis. Yeah.
Okay.
Up to and including voice and video.
Okay.
We went home after BJ.
When you listen to this interview as many times as I have, not saying I'm an expert in that, but I've listened to that interview a lot, because I had to edit it. God bless Josh the Lab. I love him. I had to do a lot of editing because he had a lot of sound effects in it. But what I gathered from that interview, which again was with the PI, former PI for Seth, Heather, they were very vague on a lot of stuff, but they always wanted to reiterate that whole Life 360 and proof of life. If you break down like what their main thing that they were trying to get across to Heather was this whole proof of life that he made it home, which is really, in my opinion, a major red flag. Because everything else, again, they get into real somewhat specific details besides the actual time frame, which to me seems suspicious. And I think that's on purpose, but
For a little while.
And unloaded the groceries.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot, but yeah. So I promise.
Yeah. I did talk to them about that, and they said that the cameras were shit.
And they confirmed again the video.
And then I just want to bring up, so law enforcement, Sumner County, they went to, obviously we know it went to BJ's, then they went to, I think they went home after, and then they went to Strike and Spare. Sumner County grabbed that footage, but they know the last place he went before home was Texas Roadhouse. But they never went and grabbed that footage. You idiots. What the hell is wrong with you guys? That is his last known. There's footage of him. And it just blows my mind that, we're lucky that the people there at Texas Roadhouse, there was a manager. I think there was at least two people. I think Silvers knows a little bit more, and I don't want to put him on the spot, but I understand that he kind of spoke. I think he's talked about this maybe on his show at one point. But yeah, he went over there and kind of talked with them and found out that, no one had grabbed the footage, and they were concerned because they knew about the case, and luckily they saved the footage, right? And was baffled. And then luckily, the one thing at night did was go and grab that footage. But to me, I'm just going to be honest, at night has lost, in my opinion, a lot of credibility, sadly. I hate it because you have Dog the Bounty Hunters name, and I think a lot of people get mistaken that, Dog is directly involved with, with really it's just his brand name attached, and you have another group that's kind of, working with that, and I feel like they came out strong, and then I just from there it's just been very cryptic messages that come out, and it just doesn't help us. I hate it, and I hate to, Anyway, I want to get sidetracked. I'll pause it here in just a second.
I even showed Seth a clip of it after his little "I haven't seen proof of life" comment, even though he had.
Yeah.
Which did he tell you about that?
And again, proof of life. That is, again, if you listen to that call, that is the main thing that you will get out of that. I forget how long it is. It's all about proof of life. Right.
About what?
That his little comment, he hadn't seen proof of life since Friday or
Insinuating
Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah, I'd heard about that comment.
Texas Roadhouse. They showed when they walked out of Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
He has seen a video of Sebastian at the fucking house Sunday night taking the fucking trash out.
Right.
audio from inside my car.
So, of course, you guys have heard that a lot. All right. Let's start with a banger here. And let's point out some interesting stuff. And I promise you, I showed you guys one little snippet about Green Hoodie, and she's got a phone out, which, from what I understand, I don't think anybody's caught that. I've spoken to people that have studied this footage probably more than I have, because obviously I focused more of my attention on the 3 a.m. But now, since in my opinion, I want to say I've cracked it, but I think, we've put a good portion of the pieces that we have of the puzzle. We don't have all the pieces, but I think we've kind of put something together that's cohesive. So now my attention's on this, but there's more stuff behind the scenes that are going on, and we think this is going to be hopefully where we take our big swing, because it is just, as people say, 2 years too long. This is nonsense. I'm dumbfounded. And yeah. And Jazz, thank you so much for the $20 euro and the gifted mob crew. Thank you so much. You do that almost every time, and it means the world. And I appreciate you taking the time to help us out in the chat. And that goes with all the mods. God bless you. We got Coop here to kind of help us out here, because we got one of our mods think in Vegas right now. Kai, thank you so much for the $5. We've got Jen. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Again, I can never emphasize this enough, that I would not be here without you guys. So thank you so much. Lisa Boo says the family photo album wouldn't be complete until KK and Crispy include their mugshots. I love it. You are so good at this. I believe you should work for the FBI. Oh, thank you so much, Joelle. I love studying footage. I guess that's just a little knack that I have. We all have our, gifts. We all have our flaws. Thank you so much, Enjaz. Another gifted. I don't know if that doubles. Sometimes it's weird. Shows up like that. Peggy says, thank you. Thank you so much, Peggy. Juju, keep the pressure on Chris. Great work. Thank you so much, Juju, for everything. And yeah, we are. We're fed up. Time for a game of chess. 2 years ago, Sebastian Rogers, the emoji, I'm sorry, I can't quite see it. Looks like a cloud, but I'm not sure. Trapped you. Checkmate. You're right. You're right, though. You'll make books. Law enforcement, you're next. Yeah, I think one of the reasons Sumner County has been quiet is because I think they know that they screwed up royally. And I think when, not if, but when this case breaks, it is going to come back on them. And I think they know that. And, shame on them. It's karma. So, anyway. Okay, so let's get into this. Bring out the Kraken. I've got some stuff to say. And I told you guys, that we've had reports that we were building and we want to do something with, or we just throw it out there on Twitter. We're not going to release it all at once because we want to kind of start to gain traction. So that's kind of why I've been a little bit absent, because I'm trying to put this stuff together. And there's people in chat that know what I'm talking about. And yeah. So anyway, and I wish I could say a little bit more of why the timing, right? But I don't want to get too, we were kind of being patient, seeing if stuff would happen, and it just, yeah. And then what disturbs me the most before we get going here is school's almost out. And that means Faith, the daughter of Crispy, with Nina, they're going to have, I'm assuming some kind of temporary custody like they did last year. And if Sebastian Rogers went missing under their roof, or under their, under their supervision, if I can speak, to me, that's child neglect. If you can't prove that he wandered off, right, you should be held accountable. And now you're going to be around another child? Fuck that. Get out of here. Have we not learned from, past mistakes that history repeats itself if we're not careful? So here we go. I think there's so many angles that, I wish I knew some good lawyers, because I really think there's anyway. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, exactly. If one child went missing under their care, I don't care if, Crispy was, 300 miles away or whatever, he's still going to be probably around KK, or she, I'm sorry. Because we heard they went, to Disney World last year. No, fuck that. No, this isn't going to happen again. Right? So here we go. So, like I said, if you heard earlier, when they had released this footage originally, it was kind of cropped. So we couldn't quite see all the way. It wasn't majorly cropped, but it was cropped a little bit. And that it's very important, right? And I don't think they did that on purpose, that cropping happens. But it's really important that I've got the original footage. I've got really good sources. And I was able to get the original. And it shows some very interesting stuff. We do. These people should not be allowed to have another child under their care if they cannot prove that, Sebastian just wandered off. Okay. Glad we're on the same page. And I think, we all need to come together. I know there's other channels that, we're all kind of on the same page. We all have our little cliques, and, I understand that's fine. But I think now's the time that we all need to come together, put aside our differences, right? The Sebastian army. And we need to come together as a team and go for the jugular. Not literally, just, figuratively. Okay, so this is important. So we see Green Hoodie come out, right? Now, Green Hoodie comes out from actually, so I can pull this up here so I know which north, southwest. Okay, so Texas Roadhouse is here. So this is northeast. Okay, that's east. Okay, and that would be south. So she comes from the south, which is the right. Okay, that's really important, right? And I'm going to show you another thing that's very interesting before she comes out. Now, this is before she came around. So I showed you guys her coming around, right? And it does look like she has to kind of come, like there's, because the shrubbery is kind of thick. So there must be like a little gap. Keep in mind when we go to ground view over here, it's, if it'll let me. Obviously, the shrubbery doesn't look as thick, but this is 2022. So, it's got thicker. And so it looks like she uses this right here, which makes sense. There's a sidewalk, right? Which we can't see, so we see this stuff right here. So it looks like that's where she's coming from and to. Now, keep in mind, she comes this way. Now, how do we know that? Well, here's the footage before she comes out. Now, if she had came from the west, and this is very important, let's look. I put a yellow box there. This is before she pops out. Now, if she was coming from the west, we should see her walking by, right, to go hit that sidewalk to enter through. There isn't anything. So again, this is before she's going to pop out for the first time. And this is very important. Exactly, Lori. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And maybe it's not egos, it's just, we do have our little cliques, and groups that we like, I kind of understand how chat goes, But yeah, here we are. Still, she has not popped out, but notice there is no Green Hoodie coming out from this way. Here she comes. Oh, let me move this over a little bit. Boom, there she is. So, that's really important for later. Yeah, again, it makes no sense. She's coming to go use the bathroom. She already just walked past, we've already talked about that, what she walked past. And then, we know she makes a beeline for Katie's car and then just sits there. For someone who needs to use the restroom, and it's weird. There's a couple of frames. I've got to look at it better here because sometimes as people walk by, it's not the best camera. Sometimes the pixels get a little weird. It's almost like she's looking in the car. And as you can see, the pixels kind of get a little, when people are walking by, it kind of distorts it a little bit, unfortunately. But we know she sits there for a good minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. And of course we all know this, so I'm not going to go too much into this. But of course we know that, I don't want to say we know, but we're pretty sure that she's handing off something to Katie, right? And I think we just figured out. I think we already kind of knew, but now we have a little more proof. KV says there's literally a gas station besides Texas Roadhouse at Sam's Club. Let's see. Sam's Club. Yeah, because she comes from, originally she comes from over here, but when we get to the end, so Sam's Club. Sam's Club. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, okay. Yep. Is that Sam's Club? Sam's Place? Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, just this one alone, there's that pizza place, right? Isn't there a pizza place? Oops. And a mobile store, even urgent care. Obviously they would have restrooms. I don't know if you have to be a patient to go in, but yeah, pizza pie place. Oh, Sam's Club. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Sam's Club over there. Yeah, so many areas, right? But even just this little bit, I would say at least 2, maybe 3 at the very least. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, thank you, KV. Oh, I never even thought of. Oh my God. I mean, that would be a little bold. But if you paid cash, I mean, if they had cameras in there, but it's not bad, Kitty. I mean, not bad. It's possible. But I think we could all agree that there's something that's handed off. And then we know Sebastian, kind of looks at that lady as like, who, like, almost like he recognizes her, like stops, like, whoa. Almost like, who, you shouldn't be here. Now, if it was KK's mother, which we don't know 100%, but we think there's a strong possibility. For those that don't know, she was originally convicted as an RSO, an offender who can't be around children, in 2005. She's been living in Virginia since late 2000s. So, if anything, I would think, unless she visited at some point between those years until he went missing, only maybe contact with, if that's her, would be maybe over the phone, FaceTime, something like that. So we know there's some kind of exchange.
And I leave BJ's. Your sisters went their own way. I don't know.
I know.
Thank you, Canadian.
They left
It's good to
BJ's.
see you.
I did not insinuate a name. I didn't say who.
Just clarifying, it was just me and Bubba that left together.
So you and Sebastian leave BJ's.
So
I used my Live 360 to give exact timestamps.
So we played that part again, but think something that was handed off. And I find it interesting. Notice how she has like her hands up too, which I find is interesting. It's almost like, hey, there's nothing that was going on, right? Again, maybe looking too much into it, but I find it interesting that she's almost like, hey, look, there's nothing that was handed off to me or her, right? Hands are clean. Kind of weird. Again, could be maybe she's kind of waving at Sebastian. And then after, of course, now we've already talked about this and released this, but after she gets in the car, and this is very important as to what we just discovered today, and I think most of you already know, but it is very clear. Right there, she's going to turn right after her seatbelt. And again, this is the older footage. I should have probably redone this so it looked a little bit better, but she's going to turn her head. Look, she's going to go down. I know it's a little hard to see it, and then bam, there's the headphone and the twist. Clear as day. We've all seen people put their headphones in. You can see her nose as she turns her head. Again, why is she putting headphones in, right? Now, this will come super important as to what we discovered today. It adds more, and of course, thanks to Hindsight, Voices of Truth, Coop is also in here. I didn't realize that she does the right and then she does the left. So she puts them in both, which again is really odd. Okay, So again, we've kind of shown that before. But now let's get to the new stuff. So we think that's a burner phone. She's got a burner phone, and she's got headphones that are connected. As I drop my headphone, she puts them in. All right. Now, moving on.
I leave BJ's. Your sisters went their own way. I don't know what they did.
Thank you. Can see you.
It was before, not exact time.
Just my three, so they literally.
What up, hindsight?
Okay. Then they leave, and then, of course, Green Hoodie goes in and uses, from what we understand, and from the management, they went into the ladies' restroom. And they said, we'll look at that stuff towards the end. They said it looked like a lady, and they believed that they thought they knew who she was. Okay. So, first thing, she comes out on the right side from the east. We already looked and noticed that she did not come from the west, right? That's going to be huge for the end part. Okay. Comes in. We're going to see her coming in right here. And we're going to follow her. Dun, 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 dun. And from what I understand, there are, and correct me if I'm wrong in chat, there are 3 restrooms. I think there's a men's, a ladies, and a family restroom, maybe for somebody, for babies or something like that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, Shack Lady. Yes. Yeah. So the headphones, right. She's going to get instructions. We'll get more into the headphone if you're kind of wondering why is she doing that. We'll kind of get to that here in a bit. We see her, and there's kind of a wall. It's hard from this angle, but there's a separation. So there's like one bathroom here. There's one bathroom. Now, I'm not sure. I'm assuming the ladies is then just through this little archway. From our angle, it kind of just blends together. I think there's like a way into the kitchen or something right there where the servers go, but there is another little hallway that you see her go through. There she is right there. And as you can see, she cuts around the corner, and then we can't see anything because she's now obscured. Okay, now, you guys ready? I know I kind of revealed the first one, but we'll get into why the earpiece and I believe the burner phone, and then believe me, we're looking. We're going further than this behind the scenes because we think this could be, if we discover what we believe to be true and we can get enough evidence, I think it's, in my opinion, there's just no way that the FBI, other agencies, blowing this up on Twitter, they cannot ignore this because this will blow up. Hopefully. I can't say that 100%, but I think it would blow up. '24th, 25th, crispiness. Mom drives a similar car. Right. Yeah. Are you talking kind of like the SUV? Yeah. We were born ready. Let's go. Okay. So here, now she has left the restroom, right? She went all this way, had to wait a minute and a half for whatever reason. And now she's leaving. And I know some people think it's a man. And again, if you do, everybody's entitled to their opinions. We could be wrong, in our theory, and there's a lot of evidence to back up this is a lady. Again, we don't know 1,000%. So again, anything's possible. Now, when I first saw this, I thought when I saw a little flash, I thought it came from the reflection of this car. And we'll zoom in here in a minute. So it didn't catch my attention.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I.
Now here's Crispy being asked about the Green Hoodie person. And here's his response. And to me, it's like, this makes no sense. This is where he was on Elevated Truth with Cluminati, who's gone now from YouTube. And anyway, here's Crispy talking.
Said that in an interview a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Law enforcement does not want that information out there. I am not releasing it. It's just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February.
Okay.
Until I came home February 26th. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
Right.
I understand.
Now, this Green Hoodie guy, do you know anything about that? Can Katie explain, or can you explain why this gentleman was next to the car? What that actual, like, what was happening in that footage? Is that footage correct?
Yes.
What I can tell you about that is law enforcement has talked to Katie. They've answered, she's been able to answer all their questions. And once again, there is nothing to that situation. I mean, law enforcement even put out a statement. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing.
Notice his little kind of like nervous laugh. Like, no, there's nothing that, let me know how what you think. I feel like, and again, if it's nothing, why don't you say, yeah, it's just some random weirdo that, transient coming to ask for some money and then go use the bathroom, right? It was nothing, right? And if you disagree, let me know. But like, why, if this Green Hoodie was nothing, why would you not just say what this person's intentions were? Because they are the biggest red flag in this case. I mean, there's a lot, but this one's a big one.
What I can tell you about that is law enforcement has talked to Katie. They've answered, she's been able to answer all their questions. And once again, there is nothing to that situation. I mean, law enforcement even put out a statement. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing.
Right.
No, that would be.
So it just boggles my mind. It has nothing to do with the case, then you can't just give a little description of like what the hell they were. But the fact that you couldn't, again, Crispy is a horrible liar. And his nervous little laugh there tells me everything. Okay, so boom, right there. And we're going to look at a couple of shots, but that's her pulling out the phone. I'm sorry. I think I have the highlights of this coming up here in a second, but it's a phone, without a doubt. She, just before she's kind of approaching that sedan, she kind of fiddles, and I don't know if it comes out of her hoodie pocket. We'll see if we can take a look at that. We're going to play it one more time. And again, this is only the first part. There's a second part that I discovered. And to me, this phone is going to be the phone that gives Katie the directions on where, because this is the theory. Again, we can't say 1,000%, but we believe that Sebastian never made it home. I think there's just through my 2 years of investigation, not saying I know for sure, but I think there's a good possibility he did not make it home. And he got switched out somewhere before he made it home. And I think the burner phone, the headphones, and somebody giving directions with the phone that's going to be, speaking with Katie, But there's more. So let's just take a look at this. Just make sure you guys understand. This is the phone. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go full screen for just a second so you guys can see it. But you'll see she fiddles about right here and has it out. And this is what's interesting is it's not like the phone is dark, right? When she pulls it out, it's open, right? So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go full screen for just a second so you guys can get a good look at this. Again, I have the bottom half, which is more zoomed in, and then the other one's a little bit back further. I do circle the bottom one to kind of show you the few times. I think there's 4 frames where we can see where the phone is out and it's lit up. And one of them's coming up here like in just half a second. So let me go full screen real quick. And again, this is only part 1. There's a second part to this. So here we go. I'm going to clear the screen for a second. And let's play this. So boom, right there. And I think I do another one. This is just kind of going half speed here. Boom, right there. It's in her left hand. And then boom, because she's kind of walking, and that's the phone. There's, Let's see, I'm trying to think what I did right here. There'll be a reason why I have this box up here in a second. Okay. Here is it again, and I think I slow it down. I think this is just kind of normal speed, maybe just slightly slowed down. Just so you can kind of see how when she's walking, you can kind of tell that she's got the phone out. Now we'll look at this closer one more time. And then wait until we get over here, because there's another major red flag. Okay, so remember, she went to the right. Oh, okay. Let me see. This is at 32. Oh, okay, I didn't. Okay, interesting. I thought I had the one part to it. Okay. So let me go full screen right here. I thought I did it twice with a little bit slower down. But yeah. So here we go. So now it's full screen so you guys can see a little bit better. So here we
What I can tell you about that is law enforcement has talked.
So she's about to pull this out. She may have it right now. She may have just pulled it out. Let me actually go back, because I didn't get a really chance. It's somewhere before she gets to this car, because clearly we see it. So see her hand kind of goes up. There's nothing there. And I think if the phone was in her hand, we would probably see it. I could be wrong. But right here, look how her hand, okay? Yep. I think this is the part, and here she is right here as she comes into the screen with the closer up version. I think this is either the pocket or I'd assume the hoodie. And boom. And then the next thing, and actually it could be right there. Yeah, actually, that is it. Sorry, I'm a little bit low. I apologize. Sorry. That's it. I'm sorry. I turned it up. Okay. So I think that is where she's pulling it out right here. Because the next 2 frames, we're going to see it. So I'll play this. And for those that are coming in, please hit that like button because I promise you we got more. This is just part 1. So here we go. Right here, we're going to see as she's kind of swinging her arms. We're going to see the light. Right after this truck right here, boom. There's the phone, and as she's swinging back, you can kind of see it swing in. And then she swings her arm back out, and bam. There it is, clear as day. I mean, there's multiple frames. I'd say there's at least 4 frames that we have light. And again, I'd seen this like before, and I thought it was just this. Like, one time when she walked by, I thought I saw light. I'm like, oh, it's just probably the reflection of this car. Nope, that's her with the phone because it swings. It goes with her motion of her arms, swinging back and forth. And that phone is on. Okay. So now, that right there. Oh, and this is the one I probably meant to, it don't matter. You guys see it now. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. As she's swinging her arm here, you can actually see how it kind of swings with her arm there. So she's got her phone out. I assume maybe a burner phone or whatever. 2 burner phones, one handed to Katie. Okay, now. Remember how I told you before when she came out, she was never seen walking this way, right? She came from the east. Very big, okay? Very important. We showed like 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, somewhere around there before she came, and she did not come from this direction. She came east. Okay, now when she leaves, and again, for anybody that's kind of disoriented, she is, oh, you gotta zoom in. Here we go. And unfortunately, Texas Roadhouse is here, but they have not been there for a couple of years. So Texas Roadhouse would be here. Bushes a little bit thicker. And she has taken this sidewalk here. Okay. That's where she's going to enter back into this area. All right. Now, assuming she would just go back from where she came, wouldn't be as suspicious, but she does something different because she did not originally come from the left side, which is the west. She does go east, but that's because east is to get to that little sidewalk. But then there's something else that happens. Oh, sorry. Sassy, Shalasha, I don't know if Sinister maybe a bad word. I don't know why at night got it. You. Sorry, Sasha. What? Why is at night? That's weird. Sorry, Sasha. I don't know why at night. Might have been a trigger word you used. That's kind of weird. Apologize. Okay. Now we're going to see her, which, most of you have seen this before. You probably know that she's going to be, there she is. And that's her. Now she's going west. Now, here's the thing. As we said before, she never came from the west when she originally came. We looked at about 2 minutes before she came out. She did not come from that direction. So now why is she going this direction? Well, there's going to be a big thing that's going to show you here in just a second. Yeah, I apologize. Sometimes at night, or at night, I'm sorry, Nightbot can be finicky. Okay, so there she is right here. Now something's gonna happen here in about 2 seconds. See that? See that light? And I'll zoom in. Don't worry about the cars right now. Let's just focus on her. Try to stick with the linear thing. I'm gonna go full screen here because I promise you this, and I'm gonna show you where this light source would have to come from. And to me, I think it's pretty suspicious. And when you play it at regular speed, it looks like they're almost high beaming to say, hey, look, this is where I'm parked at. Now, I'm curious to see what you guys think, but here we go. So I'm going to go full screen real quick so you guys can see this better. Again, I do apologize. I think I do brighten it up a little bit more here. But, if you go too wild, it's, you kind of lose some of the stuff. So here we go. Full screen. She's right here. Now, watch what happens. Okay. Those are headlights. Okay. Now, that is important. And I know people are seeing cars. Right now, we're not going to focus on the cars right now because there's a lot that we've got right here. But I know, looking at these cars could be just as important. But right now, we're just going to focus on what's going on here. So you'll see that, and she's going to walk off screen here. Now, at this point, there is a sidewalk, right? We just saw her. Oops, sorry, my bad. We just saw her, instead of going whoop up here, no, she went off, right? Now, what would be her intentions for going that way? Right? What is her goal here? When she never originally came from this direction, and she is now going off. And we just saw, because we got a little bit of an angle. Unfortunately, I can't get like the perfect angle, but kind of like this. And we see that two headlights. It's going to be super important. So she's pretty much now off screen. But we know that that is just a parking lot, an bigger parking lot. Or extended parking lot, not a bigger parking lot. Extended parking lot. So there it is. There's those lights. See those lights? Now this is slowed down. And I think I play it one more time at normal speed. Okay. Now, here's what gets really interesting. At the bottom, as you can see, it is 6:21. This is before she shows up. She is there for approximately 10 minutes. probably a little bit more. But if you're wondering, like, how long was this lady here before and after, I would say it's a little over 10 minutes. Now, I wanted to see, is it natural to see headlights shine up on this wall here? Now, I kind of fast forward it here. And this is really important, in my opinion. Here she comes. Notice the time is going fast. We did see a little bit of lighting from possibly a car that maybe went down the road. But for 10 minutes, other than one little light that we do see kind of at the beginning, there's nothing. Nothing on this wall. And remember, this wall, this is what we got, right? This is what we got. Parking lot here, parking lot here, right? Keep that in mind. So again, this is being fast forward here. There's Katie. Notice, no lights. No lights. She's in there using the restroom. Katie is left. Sorry, I thought I'd add a little music here. She's going to be coming out soon. No lights on this wall. I think we see, occasionally a little bit of ambient light from maybe some cars that are driving on that road that's beyond that parking lot. That is like the corner of the wall, so everything right here is that. If we were looking, it's kind of the east. Well, I guess it would be on the west wall, yes, looking east. So she's gonna be coming out here soon. And you guys will hopefully catch what I'm trying to portray here. We're at 6:29. She was in the restroom for about 2 minutes. Here she comes, real fast. You gonna see her? Boom, there she is. A little bit of ambient light, right? Cars passing by. Here she comes. Dun, 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 dun. And then, guess what? Just as she is coming around at that corner, what happens? In my opinion, headlights. Now, what I think is interesting is to get that reflection off this wall with those headlights. Let me know in chat. I could be wrong. I don't know if the car is coming, because it's a little bit of a curve, but by the time you're here, I don't know how your two headlights would really, I mean, it's certainly possible, but it feels like, in my opinion, let me know what you think, she clearly is coming this direction. I think there is a car in one of these stalls sitting here. They gave her a signal as soon as they see her, as she's, because it's dark. She kind of, of course, she had to come all the way, through here, right? And she kind of goes up against the wall. And just as she gets to that corner, we see the lights. I think my theory is there was a car sitting there, maybe a high beam or just turned on the car, whatever. Play that back real quick. One more time. Okay, she's going to be coming here in just a second. There she is. Second, she's about to hit that corner. Shabam. Two lights. I mean, two lights coming on like that. I mean, that's headlights, right? There's no, no debating that, right? That is two headlights. And from that angle, to me, I think that's coming from the parking stall. I could be wrong. I can't say 100%. But again, she has an agenda to go left, which again goes really nowhere, and it's not where she originated from. So again, huge red flag. So now we look at the time. Let's see. That's one thing I didn't time. Well, let me time this. I need to check the distance and see what the walking distance would be. So she's about right here. So it is 6:20 and 25 seconds. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. Okay. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. Oh, I should have left that timer up. Oh no. We'll see her coming back. We'll see her coming back. Oh, but I don't know if I'll have the timer up. There she goes. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Here she comes. So she's at least, I would say, 10 to 15 seconds out of this screen, which I think is plenty enough time to walk up to a car, and she's hoofing it, right? She's walking pretty. She isn't walking gingerly anymore. Okay. So that would, I would love to measure this. I'm sure this parking lot is not as big. You know how sometimes when we look at pictures, it may look bigger. But if we were like right here, I think one of these cars is in this stall here. I think if I back up just a little bit, my apologies. I need to look at the timer. If we get a chance, remind me. 6:30:25. Because we could time how fast with her walk. I could probably use AI to get an approximate speed of her, and then get the distance of this from this to here, or just go from curb to curb. Get the distance of this, have her speed, and then I think it would match up to her walking up to something to this, about this far, right? And then she comes back. I mean, unless, is she just super confused of where she came from? Or was there something that was handed off? Which I think is the phone. Because now I'm not 100% sure. I still got to look at it. But when she's walking back, there's no screen, as far as I know. And I kind of overlaid it. There she is. Let me go full screen real quick when I do this. Oh, I'm still full screen. Okay. I'm still here, guys. Again, I'm trying to show everything. I'll show this last part and I'll stop and I'll play. There's a little bit more to complete the picture, and then we've got another goal, and then we're going to unleash the Kraken because I've got some stuff to say. Because I'm tired. This has gone 2 years too long. I love that quote. I like that hashtag. This is ridiculous at this point. I don't know, Queen, but the rumor is, and it's a pretty strong rumor, is before she got there, there was another alleged SUV that was following her. I think it was an SUV or sedan, one of the two, a dark one. It was there the entire time, allegedly, and when she left, it followed them. And that comes from a pretty good source. So, let me go full screen real quick here. And I'm going to show you her speed as well. I need to remember to look at that time because we could, yeah. So, let me finish this and we'll recheck, get some of your guys' theories, and then kind of complete this part of it. And then we'll get into the identity of Green Hoodie as well. Because I think that is what could break this case wide open. I don't think they could ignore this. We can get this to the FBI. We do have some contacts. Sumner County can kiss my ass. Okay. So again, I just tried to overlay again. I can't properly overlay because I can't get the picture from behind the bush, but I try to overlay kind of the corners so you kind of have an idea of where she's going. But she's hoofing it. And again, that's an overlay. Boom. Headlights on. And again, she would be over here. Again, what would she be? What would be the purpose of her going over here, unless there was a car sitting there that she was going to hand something off to? Then here she comes walking back, and she's going a lot faster when she comes back the other way. I mean, she's hoofing at the left, but I'm going to show you both sides, right? So I'm going to show you when she's going left and when she's going right. You can see a little bit of difference when she's coming back the other way. Now, something that she may have gotten to that that SUV. It's possible. So here I'm going to overlay. You'll see her going left, but you'll see here in just a second. I'm going to put another half screen right here to show you the difference between her walking one direction and the other. Oh, thank you, Sassy. And I'm going to read chat for a minute here, but let me finish this part real quick. Clear this screen here. Okay, here in a second, you're going to see another screen pop up here. There she goes back. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Now, here's the difference. So here's her going that direction. Well, she's going pretty fast, but if you look at it, and I could probably use AI to kind of get her speed. She's going pretty fast when she's going back the other way. Like, she handed off that phone. She wants to get out of there, in my opinion. Again, speculating, but what other thing could you say that she's doing unless she's just completely lost? What would be the purpose of walking into a parking lot, parking stalls? Unless she's handing something off. And again, I still need to look, but I don't see her, that phone, if that phone was lit up, I don't see it. God, I hope so. I doubt it, but yeah. she's booking it. She is, Michelle. She is. And if you're just wondering where she's going, she is up on this sidewalk, right? We can see the door right there. I kind of tried to line it up. And then she would be kind of going here. So I'm not sure if she got in this SUV. Again, I could be wrong. Right? I know some people think that, because we see her go that way and then we see this. It's certainly possible. Certainly possible. But I want to know, why has she got a phone that's lit up as if she had been using it? Maybe even when she was in the bathroom. And why was Katie using headphones? And what was the purpose of going into this? What would be a non-nefarious explanation for her to somehow get lost, which I doubt, unless she had an objective that she needs to accomplish there. Thank you, Coop. Thank you to everybody. I'm sorry. I wish I could snag everybody's comments. I'll read some here in a minute. See what you guys think. But there's more. We're not finished yet, but maybe this will be a good pausing point. Let me see what's up next real quick here. And I know a lot of people have suspicions on Yellow Coat. Right now in this video, we're not going to worry about other potential players right now. I will look into this again because, I've devoted 90% of my time towards the 3 a.m. video. But since we've pretty much, in my opinion, cracked that, now my attention is on this 1,000%. So, let me see here. Anything else I was going to show in this part? Oh, okay. I know where we're at next. Okay. So, let me just back that up. Let me read a little bit of chat, and then we're going to get into the potential identity and my theory, which we've kind of talked about, but now this adds more weight to that with her, this Green Hoodie, doing what she's doing, which again makes no effing sense. Where are you going, lady? Or Green Hood, or Green Hoodie if you think it's a man, but let me. Thank you, Sassy. Yeah, I've got some things to say at the end here. Sebastian was my first case. Thanks, Chris. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, we, not just me. The community is devoted. I know. Like, years of our lives, keeping an eye on this case. I know a lot of people are trying, done things behind the scenes, watching other creators, maybe trying to help, put the pieces together. So again, it's a huge team effort. Fun to Ski, thank you so much for the continued membership. Law enforcement never talked to Green Hoodie. They talked to Katie. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Sassy. Glad you brought that up. We will touch on that. Is this if evidentiary value? Yeah. Yeah, we do. This kind of adds, you start to kind of put those little puzzle pieces together. So yeah, I think we're getting somewhere. And Jazz, thank you so much for gifting Mob Crew membership. It really helps the channel out, especially I've been kind of patient, waiting for things to happen behind the scenes. Yeah. When KK's cousin said it was so strange the large family wasn't speaking out for KK or Sebastian. Oh, glad you're bringing this up, Lisa Boo. It meant something nefarious was at work. Yes. If you don't know what Lisa's talking about, on Katie's side, she has her family has completely just been absolutely silent. Which you would think they'd be out there supporting, being on Facebook, trying to share his photo and posting his his poster, missing flyer. None of that. They have been absolutely just silent. KP and Sebastian get in the car. They're correct. Yeah, she gets there, Caitlin. She gets there before they get in the car. She actually sits there and stands there for almost 2 minutes. Almost like she knew what time they were going to exit. Yes. Yeah, I can see it a little bit. Yeah, it's there. It's under the it's right there, as a matter of fact. I'll have to, because this is older footage, so it's kind of degraded a little bit. But so see where the tag is at. So obviously, again, if I brighten this up, it'd be better. That's where the rear view mirror is at. But you'll notice there is this block, and again, I apologize, you can't really. Right there, you can see it right there. See how it looks like almost her face is like blurred out, but with like a black bar? And that is completely adjacent to the rear view mirror. That is the dash cam right there. You can see it. And so it's like right here. Again, this I'll have to get a better, but yeah, that is it right there. She is plugged in there. Yes. Oh, thank you guys. Just gonna read a little bit chat for just a second, and then again we're gonna talk about the possible identity, and then we're gonna talk about how what we're gonna in the very near future, something we've been talking about for almost a year now. We were kind of waiting for certain things to potentially happen, but with Faith coming around the corner, I'm getting out of school. No, this has got to end. Yeah, Rachel. I know there's a lot of more moving parts that maybe others could be involved. And I will definitely look more into it again, but yeah. Yeah, Katie, I am not sure. Phone showing. Maybe she's pretending to be KP, got her phone to show GPS. So I thought that too, Thornton. The way how she keeps emphasizing that Live 360 tells me that I think really Katie did just go home. I think she potentially did stop a BP because there are alleged sightings. And I think either at that point or just before or just after at a stop somewhere, he was let out. And this also goes with that there's, even though it's like a 15-minute drive back to the home, there's only 6 minutes of audio, which is really fascinating. And that comes from a source that everything else they've said has been spot on. So, and then when I did that 6-minute audio thing, I got the attention of Fish Sticks, which told me that caught his attention. So that told me we were onto something. Oh, the play-by-play. Oh, I did that in my last live. I didn't want to do it in this live, Caitlin, because I've done it like a couple of times. And I'm actually working on a timer. So you guys can see, like, because I put the times up, but I kind of fast forward it so we don't have to wait the seconds. But yeah, that's a video I'm working on. But yeah. Okay, let me get a few more in, and then we're going to get into the potential identity, and then I'm going to tell you where this could be the break in the case, in my opinion. Fun to Ski gifted 5 Mob Crew memberships. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Mama, almost 12 months. That's awesome. A year support. Thank you so much. And then Shack Lady. Oh, there you are. Sorry, I was trying to find that. Praying for a miracle. Thank you for your dedication to Sebastian Rogers. Shack Lady, thank you so much. Please show her some love in the chat. That's awesome. It really feels like, and again, it's not just me, but as us as a community, we have spent so much time trying to, help Seth, help Sebastian, which matters more than, our, whatever you want to call it, egos. I don't know. I think that's maybe too big a word, but, our differences, I think that would be the best term, for the other channels that still have our views, but, I think we just need to come together and start supporting each other's ideas and not dismissing them and try to, because this case is an anomaly. There's at least, in my opinion, at least 2 to 3 main players, and God knows how many co-conspirators. And they have gotten away with this for over 2 years. In this day and age with our technology, I think this is just absolutely insane. And I think when this case breaks, I think it's going to be huge in the news. It is going to be huge. With all the players, and then I think it's just going to be a shark frenzy where you got all the co-conspirators that are maybe not major players but knew something, and it is just going to be, survival, whoever's got, is going to be cutting the deals, right? And I think everybody's going to turn on each other to get the best deals. That's my opinion. So let's get to the potential identity and some supporting theories and I don't know facts, but stuff to back this up. And there's a little bit more after that. I guess the last thing I'll say, because I think I forgot to add this in. So if I have not already kind of put what I believe happened is Green Hoodie showed up. I believe that's her mother. I think it's a good possibility, but no matter who it is, they gave Katie a burner phone. Katie then got in the car. She is clearly seen putting in earbuds. She turns to the right. It is clear as day. She goes in. Green Hoodie does. I think she goes into the bathroom, maybe checks and starts to call Katie. So maybe that phone call is already going. Right? Unfortunately, there's no footage of her walking out, which would be really interesting to see. But regardless, when she comes out, we know that she now has that phone on. And then she goes to a parking stall for about 10 to 15 seconds. And there seems to be a car that happens to signal. So I think she hands that phone off to another vehicle, which would be the vehicle that allegedly would have been following Katie around that showed up before. And now they're going to give her instructions. Even though there's the dash cam with audio, she could just be getting instructions. And that car is now going to get into a position somewhere between Texas Roadhouse and the home. Somewhere probably before BP or after. And either at a stop or something. So there's enough audio of him, because allegedly 6 minutes. And then again, the camera is only looking out. We can't see what's, inside the car. And he is let out into another vehicle. And no one's done the wiser. She still has her Life 360 and her phone. And it looks like, maybe she took a pit stop at BP, maybe get gas, whatever. But he is switched out somewhere. And then she goes home. There could be, some other variables, but that's kind of like the basic concept. Right? Now, who is Green Hoodie? And we're still working on this. And, thank you so much, guys. Gives her the phone, so the GPS on the phone shows what's on the phone. Green Hoodie has. Ooh, that's possible, Lovely Shadow. I like it. Okay, so how tall is Green Hoodie? We've gone over this before, but this is really important because I think this could be a potential break in the case if we could really crack this down. We have a couple of things that we're going to do behind the scenes. I can't mention it all, but we're working on it. So what you're seeing here is we know Katie is, correct me in chat, is 5'7", right? And he's 5'6", right? Who's got his height? Someone let me chat. Let me know the heights so I can get. Sometimes with my dyslexia, I'll switch them out. This is very important. Yeah, I think he's maybe an inch shorter than Katie. I think he's close, but I think he's like an inch shorter. But I think Katie is 5'7". Correct me if I'm wrong. Sebastian's 5'5". Okay. So she's, I think, 5'7". Thank you, Miriam. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now look where Sebastian is. And look where Green Hoodie walks. They both walked, even though at two different times, they both walked in the same, more or less the same spot. Okay. So here, there is Sebastian. These are two overlays. So this is when he came out, and then I'm overlaying when she is now coming into. And you'll see here, as they both enter the same space, we can see that she, I believe it's a she, is a little bit taller. And then as I fade to Sebastian, sorry, that frame got a little screwed up there. Right there, you can see 5'6". And remember, she kind of tilts her head down as she kind of starts to come in. I don't think she's completely all the way up. So we can tell she is just a little bit taller than Sebastian. And we know Mama Katie is 5'7". So in my opinion, she is somewhere between 5'6", 5'8" at best. And if we put that in the middle, that's 5'7". On the screen there, that is KK's mother, Frances. She is a registered offender. She's not on probation anymore, but she will be on the list forever. We won't get into the details. But that happened in 2005. So every 2 years, she has to update her photo. This is very important. Okay? Very, very important. She's got blonde hair. Now, look at the date. And she's got to update every 2 years. So do you guys notice it's May 2024? And guess what's next month? May 2026, 2 years. So we will have an updated photo that we will be able to grab. But that year, just after he went missing, notice she has short hair. And I think I have the other one. Here's her back in 2020 on the right here. Notice she has long hair. But we can see her body type. She fits the build, right? It's a little tough because the person's got hoodie and some big jeans on, probably on purpose, to kind of disguise her, full body type. But between 2020 and when he went missing, she got the short hair. And it's blonde. And guess what? She is labeled as 5'7".
Happy birthday to you.
And that is her singing happy birthday to a child. On the right. That is her build. She fits the build pretty well, in my opinion. You got 5'7", short blonde hair. Again, that doesn't mean 100%. But there are other things that happened that we can't talk about right now. But I'm telling you, she, in my opinion, is about a big candidate. Huge candidate. And if we can prove that without pretty much a shadow of a doubt or close to, I think we could be at the end game. where we get this out into the public. Of course, we're going to get this to the contact with the FBI. And I think, and then it's going to be a 2-prong attack, potentially 3-prong, but 2-prong attack. This one's kind of our bigger one, but we do have some backups. Now, when At Night was actually doing something productive, which now the stuff they're putting out, even though I know I kind of covered it in my last live, which I'm going to be honest, I always want to believe in the best in people, right? And believe that they have good intentions. But At Night has lost practically all credibility for me, sadly. And I feel like we've just been spoon-fed a bunch of nonsense for over a year now. And then with the latest stuff, it's interesting with that whole Long Hollow. If they did have a tip that maybe a suspicious car was on that road, I have no idea. But then they're going after the whole Terry Lynn and the mattress pad. I'm not going to get into that, but again, although it always could be something, it's like they're going backwards and going to old stuff that, to me, yeah, it's still worth looking into, but making a big deal on Twitter and Facebook about this, I mean, that should have been done 2 years ago. And I hate it because you had Dog's name, and I love Dog Bounty Hunter. I grew up with him. Before my mom passed, we watched him, that was when reality TV was at its peak, and he was there. And, maybe some people don't like him, and that's fine. But he had a big name. He had a big, and they started out strong, and now it pisses me off. So anyway, that's that. All right. So here's when they were actually productive and not being cryptic about all the stuff they put out. So I'm not going to read everything, but they say, looking at the footage, it's clear. Let's see. And keep in mind, let me just reiterate for those that don't know. The last place that Sebastian went to before he went home was Texas Roadhouse. You would think the lead agency involved, would have grabbed this footage immediately. But you would be wrong. Because they're idiots. Absolute idiots. And they know it. How in the hell do you not go and grab the last known place? So they talk about the individual, and this is coming from, one of the Texas Roadhouse employees, assuming probably that manager. I could be wrong. I think there was 2 people. So here they say they went into the ladies' restroom, so keep that in mind. And they say people don't realize that because you can't see her, from that camera. She goes behind the archway there. Image isn't perfect, but they sent somebody a picture of somebody. I believe it was KK's mama. And then they say there is a strong resemblance to blank blank, who is probably Katie Stinkfeet's mother. On a busy Sunday night, people don't typically walk in from a lot and just use the bathroom and leave. That's what also stuck. There's a lot of funky stuff that stuck out to them. I think Silvers had spoken with these people. It looks like she left after that. I could be wrong. Yeah, she did. Kind of. Talking about the green hoodie. Yeah, correct. Repeats the going into ladies' restroom. If we send photos, and maybe it's the mother, I don't know 100%. I would love to know if they could email me, because if we know that for sure and they said, yeah, that looks like her, then this would be a slam dunk. But we're working another angle. But if they could say that, be amazing. They continue to say they believe it was a woman, not a man. I think they kind of reiterate, are you sure it's a female? Yeah. And they continue to ask, 100% ladies' restroom. Same person exiting the same way they came in. Along the exterior sidewalk between two vehicles. The clip ends there, which is frustrating. But on the exterior footage, I get a small glimpse of their feet. It appears to be the same person exiting the same way they came in along the exterior sidewalk between two vehicles. So this must have been that's interesting. I wonder if they're talking about when she walked back this way and there was another camera that captured her going this way and there was like two vehicles and then maybe the camera can't see because this way she clearly goes off the sidewalk. Now, it could be that there was two vehicles and she goes in between. Along the exterior sidewalk between two vehicles. That is interesting. Felt like she knew her. Stepped outside. I'm looking for her picture. Now I have an old one and I'm grabbing a recent one. I'll start a group chat and send them. It's been a while since I've read this. Oops. Right here. Pause. Worried about we're missing a chance. And thank God for this person, this manager, that felt like we should hold on to this footage because no one's came to grab it. And we feel like we know that they knew the story, that this is the last place he was seen. So anyway, we're working behind the scenes to, there's one more right here. Here's a business. I watch the way the person walks or passes. It doesn't look like male. It reads film, reiterating the female aspect of it. Could be blonde rather than gray, which is very important. And I think Mama is kind of at that age that maybe probably could have some blonde with some gray. I don't know. So maybe that's why, but definitely to say blonde. And of course, Katie's mother has blonde hair. Short blonde hair at that time. In theory, if this was her mother showing up just before, a mother who lives in Virginia, all of a sudden shows up the night before or the night of and has some weird interaction with her daughter that acts almost as if it's nothing, like they're strangers. She goes in the bathroom, comes back out, then goes the opposite way she originally came from to a parking lot that, again, I would think if you were lost, you would know by the time you get to the end. You're like, oh, okay, that's the wrong way. I didn't come that way. I'm pretty sure she wasn't lost, right? So, in my opinion, let me play this and I'll read some chat again. There's a couple more things I want to read here, right? Shame on you. Just shame on you. You piece of shit. Sorry. Snarky Chris is coming out. It disgusts me. These guys know that they're going to get exposed so bad, you know, and shame on them. And at any point, we've sent so much stuff to them. It's insane. It's insane how much stuff we sent to them, and fuck them. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, but fuck them. I have sent them so much stuff. I have spent so much time trying to do what I can for Sebastian and Seth, and these guys just don't give a shit. So I hope they get what's coming to them. Okay. This is important, but there's one thing I think most people don't know. We can't discuss it right now, but when it comes out, you guys are going to be like, oh shit. No shit, Hush Pup? That's wild. I didn't know that. Whoa. Hush Pup. I think we could look this up. Never mind. But thank you, Hush Pup. That is wild. Okay. So I believe, correct me in chat. I think someone knows in chat. I believe the first footage that was released was, I believe, December 7 days. 7 days from the release. I believe it was December 6th. Correct me in chat if I'm wrong. I think I could look it up on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure it was the 6th. I think it was hinted a few days before, but I think it was the first time it was the 6th. So then, of course, they get flooded with the Green Hoodie. Green Hoodie, Green Hoodie, Green Hoodie. So they're just getting bombarded. Right? December 13th. Okay, it was the 7th. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. December 7th. We want to address the recent speculation surrounding an individual seen wearing a green hoodie near Texas Roadhouse in relation to disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. We understand the community's concern and desire for answers in this case. Today, now, again, if this is true, it is posted December 13th. Detectives interviewed the person in question regarding their presence on the night of February 25th, 2024. We can confirm that after a thorough discussion with this individual, there is no evidence linking them to Sebastian's disappearance. We appreciate blah, 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 blah. The search for Sebastian. We encourage everybody to do nothing because we won't look into it. So you can kiss our asses. So go fuck yourself to them because they're not going to do shit. And these dates are really important. But again, can't say exactly why right now. But if you guys knew what it was, And the timing of when this particular thing happened yeah. Seth even talked about he was brought into Sumner County and was showed this. I was trying to find his audio of it. I know I have it somewhere. So I maybe misquote some things, but he basically said he was brought in not long after this, was shown the footage, the body cam footage, and I believe correct me if I'm wrong, he said that they were still wearing the green hoodie, which I think was really, really weird. But they didn't show the face, which to me is like, okay, so you want to bring him in to see if he recognizes this person, but you're not going to show their face, just the voice. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? How much do we know since she's not really much in the picture? How much do we know if he heard, let's say it's a woman's voice, how much do we know he knows her voice very well? And maybe he heard her voice back in the day through a FaceTime or whatever, or phone call or whatever. Or maybe she showed up one time. Who knows? And then, her voice has changed over time, whatever. Again, just so many different theories. And he didn't recognize it because he just maybe hasn't heard her voice in a long time or has never heard her voice. I don't know. I guess Seth could, address that. But again, what the hell? So anyway, we're working behind the scenes to do some things. Again, mate.
Situation. I mean, law enforcement even put out a statement. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing.
Look at this.
Right.
Listen to that laugh.
No, that would be.
Listen to that laugh.
Katie.
I think, again, I wish Deception Detective.
No, the last time I saw it.
I think this speaks volumes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I said that in an interview a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Law enforcement does not want that information out there. I am not releasing it. It's just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February.
Okay.
Until I came home February 26th. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. I understand.
Now, this Green Hoodie guy, do you know anything about that? Can Katie explain, or can you explain why this gentleman was next to the car? What that actual, what was happening in that footage? Is that footage correct?
What the hell? Is that footage correct? Is it AI? I mean, I know AI has gotten a lot better, but I'm sorry. What the hell? Part of that question,
What I can tell you about that is law enforcement has talked to Katie. They've answered. She's been able to answer all their questions. And once again, there is nothing to that situation. I mean, law enforcement even put out a statement. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing.
Right.
No, that would be.
That is mind-boggling. He goes missing within the next 12 hours or less. And we don't think that's super important. Is the most fishiest thing we've, that's on footage next to the 3 a.m. footage, right? I think they know who it is. But we need to get these idiots out, and we need to get FBI, another agency, and we need to get the media. We need to pull together. I told you guys a long time ago, and I hate to be a broken record. I know I said I was going to, release stuff. We are going to do it now. We were kind of waiting on some potential developments, but not sure if that's going to happen. So we're going to do kind of like a 3-pronged attack, and we're going to release some information within about a month. I don't want to put like a deadline because I don't want to, but you guys know it's been worked on. There's people in chat that know it's like it's been like kind of completed in a way, but since then I figured out the 3 a.m. I have to kind of like redo that part of it. But once we get that, and then once we dive into if we think the person is who we believe it is, the Green Hoodie, and we get this attention of the right law enforcement, not Sumner County, go kiss my ass, I think there's just no way that they can ignore this, because we're going to spam it all over media, Twitter. And the other thing I did get a chance to do is with Green Hoodie is I've been working with AI, and now that I got the original footage, the other big thing is what's interesting is about what Green Hoodie's wearing. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good spot when they come out. Sorry. I'm not purposely trying to make you sick right here. Okay, right there. Let me go full screen for just a second, guys. So, I've ran a lot of AI. I've taken a lot of frame screenshots and stuff. We can't say 100%, but here is the main 2 things that AI is going towards. Some kind of special Navy hoodie, which they typically use that kind of font and block lettering, and the olive green, which, kind of is a big deal because obviously with Katie and Crispy being in the Navy. The other one is it could potentially be something from Virginia. I've gotten some letters. I've got potential letters. If you want, I could maybe pull up my chat GPT. I'm working on it. But I think if we can figure out the lettering, because whatever this hoodie is, it's pretty unique. And let's just say an example. Let's say it's some kind of Virginia Tech college hoodie. Well, who lives in Virginia? You know what I mean? So that would just absolutely, you couldn't ignore it. If we could break it down and get it as close as we could with what is on that hoodie, or even solve what it is. Because it's not like, if she was wearing like an Under Armour green hoodie, well, that's not going to help us of her origins, really, right? She could have gotten a Target, whatever. But if it's like some kind of college or even the Navy, that's going to be huge. Proud Navy mom. Yeah. Yep. So, again, we just got to keep kind of plugging away. But we think we're going to go for the jugular within, around a month or so. Because 2 years too long and there's nothing being done. But I think if we can get this, and then the second one is the 3 a.m., there's some other things I've told you that I know about that would just absolutely drop your jaw. And eventually you guys will learn that. And that will pretty much prove that's Katie. I mean, we pretty much know it's Katie. But we'll be able to blast that and say, look, this is Katie. What is she doing at 3 a.m. running out with the flashlight and running back into her house? The night her mother allegedly shows up, just, his last sighting. They can't prove 100% that he was at the home because the footage of the person taking out the trash is, garbage. No pun intended. because it's person's wearing a hoodie. And yeah, and Sebastian's last seen wearing jeans and a t-shirt. So you add that all together, it just blew my mind how they could not ignore this. Because I think they would just, if we got the attention of the media and if we got it to the news, but we do have contacts at the FBI, at least one, maybe two, that at least take this somewhat seriously. But I think if we could get enough chatter and we all group together, all the channels, and once we put this out, we send everybody there, and we, along when we send it to the FBI, it's, all at the same time, and we just throw it out there and we go for the jugular. I think this could do it. I really do. I really do. And then I think it's just going to be man eats man, whatever analogy you want to put it. People are going to turn on each other, and this case is going to blow up. I think it'd be bigger than Nancy Guthrie case, in my opinion, just because of there's going to be so many individuals involved after the fact or knew something before of some kind of scheme, and I think they're just going to turn on each other. And it'll be the domino effect. I pray. It could be Kentucky. Yeah, I'm working on it, but this has gone on for too long. This is nonsense. In this day and age, you got cold cases that are being solved from 50 years ago when they didn't have. I mean, did they ever do geolocation for this Green Hoodie person? What about that phone? Now we know that that person has a phone. Did they ever do a geo? Right? Think about that. What if the FBI goes, they didn't know that this person had a phone on them. Maybe they lied, said they never had, a phone on them. What if they geolocate? I'm trying to find where we can see her with the phone. My apologies. What if they geofence that? I'm sorry. What was I saying? Something but geofencing. Doesn't matter if they threw the phone away. If they geofence it, I think we could do, Yeah, Sasha. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's bruises, but yeah. Yeah, dog eat dog. Yeah, yeah. I think so. And I've baited, what's his face? Oh, sorry. Let me come back on screen. Sorry, guys. Oops, come on. I've baited fish sticks. He has not responded because I think he knows that I know. I know what's going on to a point. Again, I don't know everything. I think we're all going to be shocked on. I think we're going to be surprised on how many co-conspirators there are. But yeah. I think so too, Hush Pup. I agree. Robini sent 100 for 2 joules. Oh, what is that? That's interesting. Is that something new to YouTube? Oh, Liz, yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, I love Justin. I wish everybody the best that, fight for Sebastian. I think, there's a lot of creators that have differences, but, I think we need to come together and, especially when we put this stuff out. Because it's, again, there's people in the chat that know this has been written for quite a while. Literally a year now. It's been kind of put together. But we're trying to clean it up, and then put it out in like 3 parts. Unleash the snarkism. Thanks for all you do for Sebastian. Thank you, Michelle. My question is, what did law enforcement do with all the stored data that TH stores? They even pick up data if connected to Bluetooth. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not on the Bluetooth side. I don't know, if geofencing, you never know with that stuff, but at the very least, geofencing. For sure, but thank you, Kiki. God bless you. Stevens, thank you so much for the gift of Mob Crew membership. Kiki says, was watching Old Creator the other night. They showed on Catalpa, which anybody doesn't know Catalpa, that's the when all the searchers go out and search. This is something that's going to really save a lot of lives or help find missing persons, alive or sadly deceased. But that's where you have a GPS and it's connected to a bigger program. It's an app. And yeah, where they first put the last known sighting, and it was at the back of the oh Kiki, if you could send that to me, I would love to see that. And Denise, thank you so much for the $5. And Rob Beanie, I don't know what the jewels are. Is this something different? Thank you, Rob Beanie. I'm not sure what that is or how that translates. I'll have to look into that after. Agreed, Deanna. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, trolls. Yeah, you just got to rise above that. I'll look at it, B Florida. Sometimes I get a bunch of emails, sometimes I don't. But yeah. Thank you, Miriam. I respectfully disagree on that. Depends on what the hoodie is. Because again, if it's a Virginia Tech, right? I mean, I don't think you're going to get that at Walmart. You could get it at a garage sale, but yeah, I respectfully disagree on that. Not to say it's not, let's say it couldn't have happened. Yeah. Yeah, the Catalpa stuff is interesting. Yeah, Tammy. Yeah. It's going to revolutionize. I mean, it's been out for years now. We've used it in the Aiden Clune case. But yeah, because that's going to help with those that, when you heard, a lot of stories where they go out and search for somebody that's missing, and then years go by, and then they find the body, like where they had like a bunch of search parties. And it was probably because they just, sadly were probably spread out, didn't have enough manpower. And even though they searched that area, they just didn't have enough manpower to search every square inch or whatever. So, yeah. So now they'll be able to look and see the holes that they have. So, anyway. Yes, they do. You're not wrong about that. But from what I'm looking at, from what I got, it's leaning towards this. Whatever this hoodie is, it's not. I don't think it's Walmart. Again, I don't know 100%. But it seems more, because especially like Navy, they have so many different variations. That's why I'm saying, like, if it was a college, that's huge, especially if it's like Virginia. or if it's some kind of special Navy hoodie that would come from a certain, and then we could look up, okay, who sold these? Again, there's so many routes you could go with that. But the biggest thing is whatever she's wearing, it's not like, I have looked at hours and hours, and I know there's other people in the chat too that have done the same thing, looked at different Navy hoodies, and we couldn't match 1-to-1. So I think this is a unique hoodie. But again, there's so much more. The hoodie is just one piece, but again, there's more pieces. So anyway, what time did I start? 6 p.m. Okay. If you guys haven't, please, yeah, I'll look into that. I've looked at a lot of Virginia colleges and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, no, I mean they're off. They're gone. They're not even home. And then here in a month, they're going to have the supervision of another child, Faith. And under their, well, I mean, according to Crispy, he's gone, but he can kiss my ass. But under Katie's care, Sebastian Rogers went missing. She should be held responsible. If they cannot prove that he walked out of the house, there's no definitive proof that he made it home, she should be held accountable. Child endangerment, child neglect, whatever you call it. But again, that's where, yeah. So as we move forward, my Patreon, I will probably start to release some of the early drafts. And then, we'll have a live show once we get most of our stuff together. And then, like I said, I said this last year that we were going to put all this stuff on Twitter. And again, it's been prepared for more or less a year. But because of the 3 a.m. stuff, I had to revise it. But yeah, it's coming. We're going to take our biggest shot, right? And I think if we can do it right, I think it will land, and I think we can get enough attention. My prayers and stuff for the Nancy Guthrie case, and of course, just Nancy Guthrie herself. But eventually that case will start to fizzle, and hopefully we can attach and get Sebastian's case, back in the spotlight. So, all right, guys, I am going to head out. I'm going to play. Oh, let me check my chat real quick. Or chat. My phone. Amy, thank you so much for the Venmo. Thank you guys so much. Again, God bless you guys. I'll say it every time. I would not be anything without you guys. So, thank you so much for the love and support. It's so awesome. All right, guys, we'll do a pet outro. And I'm sorry, I know somebody asked they wanted to see the 3 a.m. You can look at my past live. It's literally my last live. I went through the 3 a.m. stuff. I am adding to that. That's why it's taking a little bit longer, because I want to have it good for when we send it to the FBI and when we put it out for the public. And I'm losing my voice. So we'll end it there. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Coop, for coming in and helping us out. Sassy and Jazz, thank you guys, because I know Pocahontas is out. Okay, I will look at that. And I hope I got everybody. If I missed anybody, I'm so sorry. It's always possible. It's certainly possible. But it's time that we go for our, we swing for the fences, right? And we come together. So I'll leave it there, guys. God bless. Yeah, I'll have to look at the Nancy Guzzard case, but obviously I am invested in this because I've got so many connections that are literally, they are, literally in this, involved in this, and they didn't want to be, but they have spoken out and they have been strong, and yeah. Oh my God, Hush Pup. I'm a Czar, 700 Czar. Is that 100? Hush Pup, thank you so much. How much is 700 Czar? Okay, so that's about $50. Thank you so much. I mean, that's awesome. Anything is awesome. I'm sorry, I just wanted to look that up. When it's red, I think that usually means, I think 50 or above. So thank you so much, Hush Pup. God bless you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I tried to interact as much as I can. I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody's comments. There's still more stuff I'm working on with the Green Hoodie, of course. And if I'm not live tomorrow, I'll be live Saturday. So look forward to that. Look forward to see you guys then. God bless you. Thank you so much for the support. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. Again, cannot reiterate that enough. You guys fuel me, support me, and that is so awesome. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys very soon. Thank you again so much, Hush Pup, and everybody else. You guys are amazing. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kiki. Yeah, thank you, Ski. We're going for it, guys. Let's come together for Sebastian. I appreciate that, Strawberry. Better late than never. Again, huge shout out to my mods. God bless you guys. Thank you so much, Lisa. Yeah, send it to me, Tammy. Strawberry, if you can email me that, again, that would be amazing. I mean, you could go back into my thing. Right, Beanie, I am so curious about these jewels. I need to look up my thing.